What I'm looking forward to right now in life is all the exciting things that are happening around me every day. Being able to share with you who I am.
Let me jump right into it. Again, y'all, with the Mr. Will Wheaton, I have about 10 questions. This will be about an hour conversation. I won't keep you. To make time for me today. So, first of all, let people know who is Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton is a singer, songwriter, recording artist, real estate broker, mortgage lender, you name it. I'm a businessman who's saying the answer. Will always say, well, do you consider yourself an artist? I'm like, I consider myself a businessman first, because I've discovered that there's two different minds. I'm not fully right. Part of that left jumps in and is like, wait, are we getting paid? Are we getting paid? No, we ain't going.
Be real, he got 10 jobs.
Hell yeah, I got straight job.
And you were a native of?
Well, I was born, but moved here when I was 2. So I'm technically Mississippian, but I literally have been here since I was 2 years old. Though I love Mississippi very, very much.
Right.
I was born in the same town as Lincoln Price. My mom, she went to school together, and her mom used to keep me when I was.
Well, you can't help but this, and you are the nephew of the iconic Miss Jane Carter. Miss Closer Than Close, Miss Don't Let It Go to Your Head.
That's the one who told me to get myself in the shower and find my board and nap. He was always the one who was constantly encouraging, and basically forced me to get out of my shell, because a lot of people don't know, I actually started singing opera. Right. My mom was like, look, you gotta be well, you might want to do that. I had a private coach for I think I started at 15, and I worked with him all the way to 18. And I discovered that I was going to be bored to death. I might be rich, but I'd be bored to death singing opera. So I switched from that and jumped into a band in LA called Free Fall. I had to unlearn a whole bunch of.
Well, what was that dynamic like? I know, growing up in church and singing in church and everything, and then having to sing in the school choir, different dynamics.
Right.
What was that like for you?
Well, for me, the whole thing was, I was always about voice preservation and trying to make sure I was doing everything technically correct.
Right.
I really can't make that the focus and be both emotion. So it kind of became balanced. Okay, how do I still do what I need to do to protect myself, but come up with what people feel? And that's a limit.
Wow.
That I had to unlearn, figure out how to make things the way they needed to.
Especially, with singing, going from classical music to singing pop music or R&B and everything. I mean, it's a different. I know when I was up there singing Mozart's Requiem, and it was like, when it was time to sing, ain't no way I can take a Requiem and move that.
Even though the Requiem training, I had some of the points, cannot be the complete thing. A lot of learning and a lot of a singer. She was actually my pastor, Barbara Bonney, rap singer, who became. And he said to me in church one Sunday, I know you want to cover everything. You want to make sure everything is good. He said, you need to allow God to flow through you.
Yes.
And that healed me. I was still do it like no.
In church, we just forgot some of them soldiers who still be like,
all day long. It was a job for me. It was like,
you pretty much sung with a little bit of everybody. Like I said, when I'm working on my questions and putting them together and doing my journalism that I usually do on people prior to the conversation, I know of your extensive background, but I was surprised by a couple of things that I read about you and what I found out. Some of the artists you work with.
Michael Jackson, one, and Luther, Celine Dion, Michael Bublé, Rod Stewart. I actually toured with Rod for about half a year. Records that I did a bunch of Celine's records. First session ever was for Black. I actually got because I said to the writer when we did the demo, this goes to, it would be my honor to come back and sing for you, even if you don't pay me. He said, you know what? I'm going to hold you to it. Now, you think in Hollywood, people are just talking. They got placement. He called back. And this person, by the way, was Barry Man. And wow. He said, because you made a point to tell me you wanted to do this, I made sure that you got a chance to come back. I'll never forget that. Never. It was a complete left, and you have, and you can speak things into existence. For some reason, I can think of nobody else that.
It's been a lot of recordings because I was reading your discography. You work with everybody from like Natalie Cole and Quincy Jones. Let's talk about the David Foster effect here, because David Foster signed to a group. What happened? Let's talk about that.
So, David had the idea to do, at the time, a 90s version of The Fifth Dimension. And the group was called Next Millennium.
Yeah.
So, it was Anita Whitaker, Susan Charles, Joey Digg, Warren Weeby, and myself. I just done something else. Next thing I know, I'm driving and my phone rings and I'm like, hello. And the person said, hey, well, David Foster, I was wondering if you'd come to my house tomorrow. And first thought, okay, who's on my phone? And so I said, who is this? And he said, David Foster. And in that moment, my brain went, idiot, idiot, idiot. David Foster on the. I said, David, I would be honored to be at your house. Went to the house. Everybody walked in. I knew Nita was there because Nita was actually the person that referred to me. But then in walked Suzette Charles, who, if you don't know, was Miss America. Joey Diggs came in, who I knew, and we had done sessions and stuff together. But then there was a big, huge presence named Warren Weeby. This is going to be interesting. And so as we sat there and he talked us through what he was thinking and what he was playing. And then we all started singing. And it was literally one of those moments of, okay, this is going to be one of those true moments where you just get the goosebumps and you're like, okay, all right, maybe we're on to something. And wound up doing a complete record on Atlantic Records. Fortunately, right at the time we were getting ready to release the record, Atlantic dropped 100 acts. And we were number 99. See ya. Love ya. Wish you could have made that. The cool thing was, because of my affiliation with him, I wound up getting endorsed that I probably would have spent another 5 or 10 years trying to find. I won't count it as a negative experience. No. The funny thing is, the day that we learned that we were losing the deal, closing escrow on my first house. All I can think while they're talking is, garage door is going to go down before I can get my car in. Well, paying tomorrow because I don't know how the hell I'm going to pay. But I was listening to what they were saying, but I heard nothing because all I could think was,
you just got house. What happened now?
That same night, I had a recording session from Japan. We get to the session, and the other singer who was on the session said to me, she said, you know what? Our guy background book can't. You want to go to Japan? I immediately said, yep, sure do. Do you want the particulars? I'm like, I don't really care. Work, money.
Whatever.
You must have. It was a true lesson in trust God. Before I had no clue any of that. Losing a deal and getting a big thing.
Right.
And literally we left a month later. We were gone for like 3 months and I came and was able to, do everything.
That's how God works.
All day long.
That's how it works. It's like, hearing your story and knowing you for the month time that I do, you're such a believer and a lover of God and all that he can do, and it's just trusting the process. I think your message resonates very loudly that you don't know what you don't know. And since you don't know,
thing I love the most is feel the fear and do it.
Exactly.
We're always fearful. It might not happen, but you don't know what will happen.
Because you did it anyway. Absolutely. So you're a singer and a songwriter. And you've written some songs for some pretty cool people, including I got things to do with every night with him. and give them my best ratio for real.
Yeah, yeah. And your best ratio for is nothing short of phenomenal.
Thank you
I
so
mean,
much.
just tell anybody who don't know. Hear me.
Thank you so much. Mr. Will Downing, and you've written for him, but who are some of the other artists you've written for, Miss Anastasia?
Indeed. Wind and Fire. I've also written for Iyanla Vanzant had a book called something that I can't remember, but I wrote one of them. Today I Cried, I think. Some song on that book. I've written for myself. And who Stager, of course, and somebody else. Oh, Tevin Campbell, Coco. Matter of fact, the song they did is the single that I wrote, Millennium, with Dave Foster.
Wow.
And how that song happened, so folks understand how things work. We're sitting around, hanging around David, literally being a kid at candy.
I can imagine.
Because anybody might show up, anybody might call, or either you'll be listening to a song you just love, and he'll go, "Oh, I wrote. You wrote this." Me one day, I called the publisher and I said, "What are you doing with?" He got the deal fell.
Right.
So what are we doing with the song that we did with David? And he said, "What song?" I said, "You don't know you have a brand new day." You know what? Give me an hour. I'll be in your move down the 14 at 100 and something miles an hour. And Austin is off. And I handed him the song. And he said, "Yeah." We played it, and he said, "David wrote this." I said, "David, myself, and members of a bit." Hey, I'm going to tell everybody, I've got a song with David. I'm like, "Dude, you got a David Foster song." That's all you can say. He literally, when I walked out the door, called Quincy Jones.
Wow.
This got a new David Foster song I love to hear. He plays it for Quincy. Quincy says, "You know what? Kevin,
Wow.
that's how that song wound up on the record." Because Father used to tell me, "You got to put them feet under them prayer. You can pray all day long."
What?
Actually,
There it is.
with work.
All the time. I said, they always say, leave it to God in prayer. And he wants that, but he wants you to be proactive. And
All day long. Oh, he was like, "Yeah, okay, pray for it, but then you do your part, I'll do my part."
absolutely. Oh my God. What an amazing story.
Yeah, but Jay was somebody who was working with O.G. Pierce.
I remember OG.
And I helped O.G. move into his first apartment. And so I know. So I was talking to him one day. He said, "This girl, she's white, but she's real funky." And I said, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." And so right around that same time, I had hooked up with Young MC because I had done a demo for him. And it was a demo that we did he was trying to get it shot to Luther. After we got done, he said, "You know what? Would you ever want to write?" "Do you?" I'm like, "Whatever." So again, thinking that people are just talking, I've learned in the business that, sometimes people are serious and sometimes it's just conversation until they get bitter and get to. Literally, like a couple of days later, he called me. He said, "You know what? You want to come work on it?" I'm like, "Cool." I went to his house. We worked on it 20, maybe 30 minutes, and then we went to El Pollo Loco. Lunch. So we get it done. I called one of my dearest friends, Bobby J. Duet. She came in and I just sent it over to OG to check it out. And I didn't really hear anything. Next thing I know, I'm getting a phone call from her manager at the time. It's, "Can we meet with you real quick?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." We go over to meet, find out that she's getting ready to perform the song on a show called The Cut. Which was that show that Lisa left out.
Oh.
So I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm still nothing, I'm just like, okay, so she's doing it, whatever. Next thing we know, she goes on The Cut, she does the song. Tommy Mottola sees it, and he signed her immediately.
Yeah.
Banana. But at the same time, my mom is
Okay.
so really focused on anything. I'm just like trying to, keep her good and trying to do whatever. And then next thing I know, talking to my attorney about something, and In the closing of the conversation, I said, oh, by the way, I need to talk to you about Anastasia. What do you mean? Anastasia who? I said, Anastasia, I think her last name is Newkirk. She's a singer. And she's got this song that I did called Not That Kind. And my attorney, you wrote Not That Kind? I said, yeah, me and Young. Do you know what is going on? I'm like, no, that song's blowing up overseas. I'm like, really? Fast forward, stuff happened. Driving down the highway, I'm going, goes, hi, Will, this is so-and-so from me. We want to talk to you. We're in love with the song. We want to make you an offer. I'm like, you okay? Here, call the man over here. He's my attorney. The beauty of it, and again, this is why I always will thank David Foster. It was not wasted time, because from working with him, I had learned about a sub-publishing deal. You wind up with what's called record and release commitment, which means you don't record and get X amount of songs released, you don't get any money. Sub-publishing, all they do is basically administer your publishing and collect your money as singers.
Right.
No added, but you still have the cachet of a publisher. Wound up happening, we wound up getting a really great offer from Warren Chappell, which still blew my mind. The cool thing has been for me is to see the amount of work that's created.
Yeah.
And when I tell them, they're like, you've got to be kidding. That's very good.
But
Anastasia over here was really a wet singer. And over across the water, she's selling out when
right.
crazy.
You ventured into real estate. Not only did you venture into real estate, bro, you are the real estate mogul. I do for advice on different things and whatever, and you've always had the answers for me. And if you didn't, you was like, hold on, call you right back. And then you say, okay, you want this.
Right.
Real estate. What a perfect, and a lot of people don't, I get it. And watching you and knowing I have you as not only a friend, but a person of knowledge that I can just get information from. The importance of real estate. It's the one thing that we know will continuously be what it is. It will not change.
There will always be somewhere, a need for somewhere to.
Real estate. How did you even just walk yourself right into not only becoming an agent, but now you are a broker. You are the finance dude. You are the man. Stop, and I appreciate it. And you are a man of color that is doing it.
Very much. So here's the funny. I was doing it for a long time before anybody knew it. I talked about studying and doing the work and everything, but I didn't really tell anybody because I didn't think people would take me seriously as a singer. Your success is from flipping house. And then this was like, what was he talking about? You can do this, you know. And so it took a minute for me to get to the concept of it doesn't have to be from one thing.
Right.
It can be, you know, you can do this, you can do this, because I've always had a severe case of ADD. I am incapable doing as much as I would love to tell you. I'll go on vacation somewhere and chill. By the time 8 o'clock rolls around, if I'm on vacation, I have checked about 18 emails, answered all of them, and started another 34. I've always been that dude.
Right.
But when I was growing up, when I was a little kid, I drew on a piece of paper an enormous, basically, apartment complex. And I said to my mom, I want to own. She's like, okay, sure, baby, whatever. And I'm like, I'm serious, because you can make money doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, when I really got into it, she was like, well, there's your start. There's what you're talking about. So always been something that I've been passionate about. Like I said, I didn't mix the two worlds. I thought the real estate people would think, oh, he's some dumb singer. People would be like, oh, so he really makes it. That's what he did.
Mm-hmm.
But that was me. Once I let go of everything.
And that's the reality of it. And I mean, like I said, a more perfect scenario, because I think Lisa said it earlier. She's saying everybody needs a house. Last week you were, or it was where you made a statement and you were speaking the importance of people not waiting to purchase right now, in reference to how the climate of the market is. And it's so funny because I'm constantly trying to tell people that on my end, Yeah, you may want to come on now because I'm telling you, once the influx of people start coming here, it's going to start tick, 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 tick. And now people are well, Vegas used to be really cheap. And it used to be better than it used to be. Exactly. But that was, I've been here 6 years. That was 6 years ago.
I remember when in Lancaster, Palmdale, you could buy a house for $50,000.
See?
Those houses right now are 400. So if you just bought one home,
Mm-hmm.
you'd be seeing, you. The thing about right now is interest rates are high, and unfortunately, people keep listening to the media. Which the media makes their money on negativity.
Mhm.
Fear. If the media can scare people enough, then it forces them to do what they want them to do. When it comes to housing, what you constantly hear is, "Well, the market's about to crash, and a bad day for housing." Houses are 80% where they were like 20 some like years ago. So we have a 5% decline.
Right.
The reason that we're seeing what we're seeing is you don't have enough inventory in the nation, not just wherever you are. Literally, when the market crashed in 2007, 2008, there were over 4 million homes on the market, and there were about 4 million buyers in the marketplace. Okay. Today, there are less than 1 million homes on the market in the nation and over 12 million buyers. That's why the problem is the builders can't build fast enough to make up the gap. So even though interest rates have gone sky high, people thought, okay, well, that's going to bring prices down. It has nothing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Houses. I will tell you, when they come down in the next 6 or 7 months, they'll back down probably into the sixes.
Mm-hmm.
Your prices skyrocket again.
And I'm looking to go to San Diego, that area.
High stuff. But you got that good business brain too. I ain't worried.
Looking at right, and I said, "Oh, we just gonna start at one point."
Get it. This is the entry level. Especially if there's any water near it. God, in that San Diego, it's no joke.
Like, what to take motel that bring, and I looked at it like this, and for me, it was like, I lived in SoCal. I was there 16 years. I had my house there. So, I don't really come back there. We just built my family home up in the Bay Area. So it's back there. That home is there.
God.
And I have the properties here in Vegas. So it's like, well, where is it comparable for me to go? That makes sense. I could be an hour flight away from here, hour flight away from my mom. I'll come up to, back to LA. I come back and do session work back up there. And San Diego just seemed like the best place that I can go. And the weather's temperament is always nice and everything. But one point,
these houses now, like what I'm seeing a lot of is you're seeing generations buying together now. So it's like mom, dad, the kids, and maybe mom and dad, mom. These house payments are like 11, 12, 5, 7, 8, 9.
I mean, and I'm proud of myself because even on the family home, we got it a new building built from ground up, and I negotiated my tail off when you would have proud of me. I got that 3.1 interest rate. And I said, I told my mom, she said, "Well, why are you so proud?" I said, "It's because here's the thing, Mom." I said, "When God called you home," and I said, "It don't matter." I was like, "I ain't never got to touch this interest rate, and what, your investments or whatever like that." I said, "Even if I were to we could pay this down." And I said, I got a brand new house note, and we're probably paying like $900.
Come on.
She said, "Mo, you did. What part of that, it's so important that, and I'm glad you were saying that because people need to understand, take advantage of, don't look at what the news is saying, put it together, because that was one of the things when I bought my first home and everything. It took a friend of mine to really break down the numbers for me and like you show it to me on paper
Right.
And when he gave me what I had been paying for my 4 years in the townhome I was living at on Coldwater, and said, show me what I spent. He said, "Now you can't get none of that money. That's just money out the window."
It's gone.
And he said,
Gone.
"So you're gonna sit here?" When he broke that down to me, he said, "Now look, all you need is X amount of dollars."
But see, here's what happens. When they think renting, they don't think it's going to be a problem. As soon as you put the moniker of owner, people start thinking, what if I can't pay for it? You're going to do the same thing you would do if you were renting somewhere. But the difference is ownership is going to put you in a mindset that's going to keep you working to make sure you can pay. And it forces you to raise your standard.
Same here.
So if I want to do this day, I'm going to have to get up and make the money happen. Now, if I invest in this, I'll be able to do this. And ultimately, I'll be able to do this. I know people who are renting, paying $4,000 and $5,000 a month. And when I tell them that a house bill might be the same or a little more, you're paying it now. What? Like you're already doing. How are you making that happen?
Kudos to you for just having the know-how and to allow others to come up under you and to make sure that we have ownership, especially Black ownership, which is so important to build our communities back, because gentrification is real. And we are seeing, like you said, legacies be removed from places. I tell people all the time, it's like, well, my grandmama house and we got this house and everything. I said, don't you sell it. Put on for that.
But the hard part is when you think about what our parents had to do, what they came up, and the fact that they figured, it just goes to show you, put your mind in anything, you can make it happen. When they came up, they came along. And the government, they couldn't get. If a developer or a home builder allowed a person of color to move into a development, they removed all of the government funding from the development. So our people were buying houses and paying low interest rate and had no chance. They missed the payment. We'll close it. Did it? When that hit me, I'm like, you know what? There's no excuse.
No.
Make it. For me, this came prior to this. I was a landlord. Apartment building that I built just about ran me crazy. So I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be but what I decided was I want to be a huge part of people becoming homeowners. Our mission every day is people all walk through life, the best lives through real estate.
Absolutely. You recently released, get back to music, the iconic Lady in My Life.
Yeah.
You released that and you resung that thing.
So, you know why?
Oh, I want to know. Wayne.
In the thing that I mentioned, remember when I mentioned data process that I had already done something?
Yeah.
In 1992, I've chosen to be a part of a talent competition called the USA Music Challenge, which was Dick Clark. There, he auditioned 3,000 people around the country. I was number 3,000.
Wow.
And I sang one of my original. When I left, I remember thinking, why didn't you sing something somebody new? Because you probably just threw yourself completely out of the running. Surprise, for the show. When I got on the show, it became, okay, I got to find something I could sing, something that won't feel like me, but it didn't have to be one of my songs. Just needed something.
Right.
Somehow, Lady in My Life became the song.
Wow.
And I never sung it in life prior to doing this show. So we came up with an arrangement. This guy's name was Al Casher, who did the, and we did it on the show. In the middle of rehearsal, I was sitting out in the audience, and there were some of the other contestants, and one of them said to the other, some idiot is singing a cover tune. I'm like, okay, we go to rehearsal, and we start doing it, and each time I did it, it got better. I was like, okay, I get what to do with it now. And then we did it, and I won the show. What happened, what I won, this particular show, to my knowledge, was the first show where an artist actually won a record deal. This is before America.
Boy, The America's Got Talent.
but it was the only show that Dick Clark did. So basically, when I got done, I wound up in the MCA record camp. And I got put in the middle of a battle that had nothing to do with me. As a result, I was used as collateral damage. It turned into the nightmare of the century. I wanted to release a song for my single, but because of we couldn't get it. And then because of all of the political crap that happened, we couldn't even get the deal signed. Because basically when I came in, the guy who was at the label at the time was like, "Oh, you're actually a real artist." They talked to me with a buddy of mine, Les Pierce, who's a music producer. And we went in and we did a remake of Barry White, "I'm Gonna Love You Just a Little Bit More." Next day, the head of the label here, and he's like, "Can you do something else for me?" I'm like, "Yeah, what you need?" He's, "I need a ballad. Give me a ballad that like at least 5 or 6 minutes back in the studio." Ballad done, showed next. At that point, I'm turning a complete deal around. This is no longer a single deal. We're gonna do a complete album. I'm gonna give you the budget, all in. Whatever you make the record for, that's your business. Just deliver me the album, and we're gonna blow this thing up. That's when all the bullshit started. Basically, the powers that be were against him, and so because he was for me, they turned me. Wow. You either take this contest winner deal or you do nothing. We went through that, and then I left there and I got another deal and turned into more political drama. And so by this time, when David Foster's been cleared, I'm like, "Fine, here's what I've done." Let me know. The point of the song was, it was a song that I won on singing the contest. So the 30-year anniversary of it. And I thought, you know what? This song was never gonna. Yeah. But the thing I didn't know was the release of it coincided with the 40-year anniversary of Thriller. I had no idea. People think that's why we did. I had no idea.
Wow. And now what? It was.
And to this day, it blows my mind. I just got the plaque for the #1 placement on the Indie Soul chart.
Absolutely.
It was God saying to me,
and let me give it to you now. That's amazing. I didn't know the story, and I know the story. It's even more like, wow. Yeah. But I just want to ask Will, as a male singer, how do you feel about the state of music today, especially male artists? How do you feel about it?
I'm encouraged by some of the male artists that I'm hearing now. Jason Morales is one of them.
Yeah.
Jason did my phone downstairs. Jason just did a great remake of another artist that I told some years ago. I was like, "Don't do things." The kid named Kenyon Dixon.
Kenyon, yeah,
is incredible.
Yeah.
When I see them, I'm encouraged. I feel like there's hope. If we can just stick the streaming world, because that right there, it's like as somebody who has seen what a song can do, it is tragic to see what people aren't.
Right.
I mean, it makes no sense. Apple came out with the idea of the 99 single. That was the best idea. You didn't have to buy a whole album. The artist got 70 cents. Apple took 30 cents. You were golden. You sold 100,000 of those. You made some good money. Now we're at a 16th of a penny for a stream, and that's if somebody listens to 5 seconds. What are you doing? Only advice that I have for anybody listening to me talk about anything is own what you create.
Come on.
Because ownership has privileges we'll never afford.
Right.
So if you're going into aerospace, I don't care what you're doing, own it if you can. You can't, make sure you got a good controlling so that you can affect change and create what you want to see.
Yeah.
But what I also want to say is to you, young lady, you destroyed America. I am so proud of you. I was in this house jumping up and down like crazy. Look at my dad. You were brilliant.
Thank you,
And
sir.
I'm proud of you because I know what a decision, because we tend to have the thought, and I go through it constantly. Of, okay, well, I mean, at this age, why should I do? I don't need to prove anything to anybody. It's not about that. It's about the people who don't know who you are and letting them know, I applaud
Thank
you.
you.
I am so proud of you. And thank you for feeling the fear and doing it anyway.
And it's all funny because tonight be crowning their next voice winner tonight.
Oh,
Yeah. So kudos and shout out to whomever wins. I'm Team Asher.
okay.
We'll see what happens. And
Cool.
yeah, thank you so much. And of
Yeah,
course,
no
it
problem.
definitely was a feed that I felt like, if anything, let me get out here and represent us.
Sure.
You know, showing that yes, exactly. Shit, so I am what is possible. I said, honestly, I'm not here to win. I'm just here to show up and show out.
Exactly.
So
His baby darling, B.G. Majid, formerly known as Bridget Bryant. So,
oh my God, it's great. Well, you gave us some advice, you gave us some direction, you showed me love, your socials. If people want to reach out to you for whatever, please, how do we do that?
Will _ Wheaton _ music, Will _ Wheaton _ real estate.
There it is.
That will, and next level home lending. And there's an underscore in between each word.
So if y'all trying to get your home ownership on, and look, Monet,
We made it.
we
Byron.
all right, we're gonna wrap this up, like, y'all. One more time, Mr. Will Wheaton, thank you. Talk about it too. We talked about it. We got it done. I'm gonna see y'all next week with another fun person.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. Remember to follow me on my socials. Go to my YouTube page. I will have some new talk about it coming up. For other ones, if you hadn't seen them, will probably be up not this week, but next week. And you'll see that on my YouTube page. So make sure you can link up in my bio.
I love it.
I'm gonna go have me some dinner.
Then I gotta go.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.